Now it's time for me to explain the yo-yo test. It's about...
Question.
Yeah.
Have you had a yo-yo test as a kid growing up? Have you gone through the rigors of facing a yo-yo test? Or
Yes.
have you seen it?
Seen it, gone through it, but it was more the beep test then. So the only differences in the beep test is you're going from one end to the other. Same, your time, the duration that
Which we will talk about when we explain. But you have experienced it.
I have. So we used to do it in pairs, where one of your friends would count how many you've done, and third strike, gone. If you miss the beep for the third time, gone. Bye bye.
It's two in the yo-yo test.
I think we're kinda when we're like 12, 13 years old, right? So it's not so harsh. Have you done the beep test?
I've just run sprints. That's all I've done in my life.
That's good. Why don't we give it a go one day?
As a kid.
Okay. Then I guess we can't go back then to do that. But I will explain. The yo-yo test is completely about endurance. And that's basically what Team India are trying to test.
Instill as well?
Yes, and instill. I think it's a good fitness thing. But I need your help to explain this. So, 2 fingers up, please. So this is 5 meters.
Okay. 5 meters.
This, from this point to this point, is 20 meters.
Not to scale?
It isn't to scale. So if, let's say you start at a level 8 or a level 9, from this point to this point, the 20 meters, the runner starts, the player starts running, there's a beep here, runs back, there's a beep there, and walks this 5 meters and comes back. It's basically a walking recovery. It gives the player time to recover.
Which is what happens in gyms as well. You do a set, you probably walk around, recover, and do your second set.
Absolutely. We didn't get to do that in the beep test. It was from one point to the next. Maybe ours was tougher. Probably. We didn't get a beep recovery time. Okay. So what ends up happening is if you begin at level 9, level 10, whatever, there will be like a 9.1 where there's a certain speed. Then 9.2 will get faster. So the time between each beep becomes shorter.
So you need to complete that sprint between those two cones within that amount of time stipulated.
Yes.
And that amount stipulated reduces with every
level.
And
every little section in every level. Okay. That's why we have, like, for India have, you can put your hand down. That's why for India we have a basic benchmark of 16.1. And if I'm not mistaken, England and New Zealand, Australia have scrapped this. They do some 2 kilometer time trial thing. But England and New Zealand have 19 as their benchmark.
Yep.
And Sri Lanka and Pakistan, I think, have 17.4. So India have a 16.1. And what this does is, imagine you start off at a very relaxed pace, because it is relaxed in the beginning.
Right.
And it just gets faster and faster. Imagine the sort of strength and endurance your mind, your body needs to keep going. And you also have to, when I was doing the beep test, you had to keep pushing yourself that, oh, come on, I just really want to get there on that next
There
beep.
is no end limit to it. You can go to 16, you can go to 18, you can do a 19. It's just when your body tells you that, and your mind tells you that.
And it's such a battle between the mind and body. Yeah. And we all used to look forward to our beep test. But I'm glad...
That's a first.
Yeah, we did. We were kids. We enjoyed this sort of competitiveness. But yeah, I'm glad there's that 5 meter. I don't know when this was changed, but that recovery period.
So India did have a beep test all those years back. Actually, that Akash Chopra video explains it pretty well, that there was beep test even during those times, and he has said that there were a few players who would not probably pass it, but because they were the senior members or whatever, the captain, or they would very easily get away with it. I think what has happened is that beep has become yo-yo. It's more or less the same. You have that extra 5 meters of recovery time, but it has become stricter in terms of a policy decision by the BCCI. And as you hear Ravi Shastri in his pre-tour conference say that it's here to stay. It's everyone is on the same page. The selectors, the board, the captain, the coach, and even the players are on the same page. there will be heartbreaks, and Ambati Rayudu is a heartbreak. He's coming back into the Indian team after all that hard work. Had a great IPL, one of the best batsmen, looked as calm and composed as I have seen him all his career, the international career especially. And to not make it because of the beep test, because of the yo-yo test, is heartbreaking. There is no doubt about it. Similarly, Sanju Samson, Mohammad Shami has had fitness issues in the past, but you got to look at what the baseline here is 16.1. None of the other countries have a baseline,
such a low baseline
as low as that. 16.1 should, personally speaking, what I've seen from the videos, from what I've heard of various athletes going through it, should be easily surmountable. And more importantly, why is the beep test necessary is a question a lot of people are asking. Well, overall, it raises the fitness of the team. You remember all those years back, there was a series in England where India lost 4-0.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Yes, lost the ODI series as well. And Nasser Hussain, in one of his commentary stints, made a very, I wouldn't say politically correct statement, a very incorrect statement, a statement that I think was avoidable. The usage of words were avoidable when he called some of the Indian players donkeys in the field. Not the best choice of words, I think. Should respect cultural differences. And
I'm sure he won't do that anymore.
I'm pretty sure he won't. I'm not sure whether he would do that for any team. But the usage of the word apart, the problem there was that a lot of Indian fielders were finding it difficult. A lot of Indians were finding it difficult to run between the wickets. Not in terms of how quick they were, but once they had reached that 30, 40, 50, and that's what the beep test is. Basically, it tests your endurance after you have run at the speed of 5 kilometers an hour, 7 kilometers an hour, 9 kilometers an hour, 12 kilometers an hour. Then can you run at 15 kilometers an hour or 17 kilometers an hour?
And it's very difficult to stop and start again. Because when you're running, you're building momentum,
right,
in your speed. So even running between the wickets is exactly that. You can't keep running past the line, the crease.
Right.
You have to
stop. You have to
turn.
get back. And the point Nasser Hussain was also making was about the fielders in the outfield. In Australia, when India go there in this November, December, the outfields are going to be the biggest that there are everywhere when you compare it with anywhere else in the world. Twos become threes, ones become twos very easily, especially for a team from the subcontinent where fitness, at least till about 2, 3, 5 years back, was not very high on the agenda. And that is where you start losing matches. It's not just batting, it's not just bowling, it's also about those extra runs while running between the wickets, while fielding. This will at least ensure that while you are on overseas tours, while you have played 6, 7 matches, not just about playing one test match, you have been on a tour. Last time India was in Australia, the series started in November. They played 4 test matches. There was a tri-series with England and Australia involved. There was a very small break, and then the World Cup started, where India again played about 8 matches there. So when you have that kind of a schedule, next World Cup is going to be very similar. It's going to be a team playing 9 matches at the least, and qualifying for the semi-final if possible, and playing a couple of more matches. You're playing 11 matches. You need to have that kind of endurance. You need to have that kind of fitness. And if the board, if the players, if the management thinks this is the right way to go about it, it is only going to lift the fitness of the team, the endurance of the team. The only issue where I see a lot of people are complaining is the communication. I think the communication has been lacking. Nobody knew there was going to be a yo-yo test. It happened. Some people, they failed the yo-yo test. There was Rohit Sharma who had the yo-yo test somewhere else, which is fine because he was on a vacation. But at least that should be, there should be a media release which said that this is the schedule. I mean, there's a media release which says this is the schedule of the series. There's a media release which says when the team is going to leave for, say, London in this case. They should.
Yeah, what about the players' fitness test?
Exactly.
But there are a couple of things that came up when I was doing a bit of reading and researching on this. Is that some people didn't like the fact that you select a team first and then you do a fitness test. But to be fair, the IPL did come in the way.
Which is what the selectors said, that there was IPL and we couldn't have a yo-yo test during the IPL. See, these are teething issues there's an acceptance that there are issues. There is something that has been newly introduced to the system. There will be issues. There will be teething issues, and I'm glad that a lot of people have objected to the fact that should have been done. I think that's a valid point. You have it at the end. You have it before the selection. But then how do you manage the IPL? So, and you can't select a team just 5 days, 7 days before it's supposed to leave as well. It's good to select a team as early as that. So these are teething issues which they will sort out. But as far as the Yo-Yo test is concerned, I think it's a good thing for the team, for any team. We've seen various teams, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, even if we don't include teams which are traditionally fitter, we're talking about teams like Pakistan, Sri Lanka. They have the Yo-Yo test, and they have been doing well with their benchmarks, so to say.
So we're in agreement that the Yo-Yo test is a good thing for Team India, and hopefully players will just get better, and that benchmark will probably move up higher.
Yes, I have a feeling that it will, because again,
Virat is at 19.
Virat, you can't compare Virat's fitness with
a
lot of other people. He's a different beast altogether. But if you have players like even Manish Pandey is 19, Ashish Nehra was 17 plus, if I'm not wrong. So, and yeah, he's a fast bowler, and fast bowlers run a lot. But for them to have that kind of endurance is a good thing. He had his problems with his injuries, but I think as a fitness freak, I think Ashish Nehra was one of those hardest working guys around. So if Ashish Nehra can do it, anyone else can.
Great. I hope one day I get to try it again, but it's a neat hint.
Don't count me.
Okay, I won't. But we'll move on to our next interesting topic.
Yep, we will.